Hi, my name's Chad, and I'm going to be taking a few moments to show you how to make a composite image in Photoshop. What we have here are two images, both taken in the same studio setup. What we were doing is dropping a raspberry into a glass of colored water to get a dramatic splash like this. And no matter how many times we tried to do it, we couldn't get it exactly right. So we have two shots here that we're going to combine into one shot. The shot on the left has a perfect looking berry and some great bubbles, but no splash to speak of. The photo on the right has a fantastic splash, but the berry is obscured by the refraction of the water. There's really nothing going on in the glass. And so we're going to make a combination of the two photographs to get exactly what we want. Now looking at this, you might think that adding the berry to the splash would be easier, but after playing around with it for a little while, it became pretty evident that the easiest way to do this is to take the splash section from this one and paste it onto this image. So that's what we're going to try to do here. It really isn't that complicated of a procedure, and it shouldn't be too scary to tackle for people that are inexperienced with Photoshop. But the results are pretty impressive in my opinion. So we're going to start off by making a selection that we're going to use to copy onto this image. And we're going to select, I'm going to zoom in on this image and go actual pixels on it. This was taken with a Nikon D200, so it's got some pixels in there. We're going to select the entire glass and splash from about here up and take that into the other picture. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of pick an arbitrary point here. We want enough of the water in the glass so that we can do a nice even blend. And I'm using a tablet to make this selection easier. You can do it with your mouse. It's just a little trickier to move your mouse around this accurately. The tablet, I find, makes a lot of things much easier. Now you'll notice that I went ahead and just avoided all of these little splashes that I don't like quite as much as the big splash. You know, actually, we could I'm going to use the play around. There we go. This the Shift key. I'm going to I'm going to add this this one in here. I like that one. So let me add that in there. So now that whole area is selected too, so we'll get that little guy into the new one too. Let's see here. We're gonna back out to where we can see both images. Simple as that. Drag and drop. Okay. Now the problem with this is going to be pretty clear pretty soon. Zooming back out to see that one. We'll make them both the same size. Every time we dropped this berry, we had to move the glass to kind of clean up and get ready for the next image. So these two aren't in exactly the same spot. So here's where kind of the trickery comes in. We've got to go in and do some work on this layer to get it to match up properly with the other. And just for my own peace of mind and being able to see what's going on underneath a little bit, I'm going to make that layer slightly transparent. I'm going to allow it to fill the screen. And then I'm going to go in with a free transform and just kind of start working it around and see what we get. See how the rim of this one is up here and the rim of this one is down here? We're going to try to make it a little more realistic than that. Get the rims about lined up. And actually this is going to turn out to be very easy because the tripod was in the same place. It's just that the glass moved a little bit. So you see, as soon as you get it lined up on the sides there, the curve looks just about perfect. And I don't think we're going to need to do any more than that. We're going to accept that modification. And we're going to make that 100% opaque again. And now we've got the cool splash, but we obviously have some badness going on that we want to take care of. So the easiest way to do that, I find, is to use a layer mask. We're going to do a reveal all, and that's going to give us a wholly white layer mask. Now, everything that's white is visible. Everything that we're going to paint in black is going to be invisible. We don't have to worry about all this area out here because there's nothing to be visible. So we're going to take a brush with a black. We're going to start going through, and first things first, I want to uncover that bubble. I'm going to bump this up to 100%, but I've got my tablet set so that if I press lightly, I'm not painting quite so opaque. And if I press more forcefully, it's more of an opaque brush stroke. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of paint in the old glass everywhere that I think is in need of some of this old glass. Now in through here, it's going to be a little tricky. I think we're going to have to kind of blend the two and use a little bit of blurring to get this area of the glass to look perfect. So I'm kind of painting it in here, getting rid of the new one down below this splash level. Now I'm going to go through and do kind of the same thing along the edges. We want to use a real soft brush for this to blend this in here. And remember that our glass is in almost exactly the same spot. Oh, see, there's a little something coming through there that we don't want. We'll deal with that in a second. We can clone that out of the finished product if we want as well. So the idea here is to go through and get rid of all this hazing. And this technique works pretty well for this, and it avoids needing to make any super complicated masks or perfectly trace this out. I mean, you notice that the background colors are plenty close, that once we get a little bit of a layer mask working there with a soft brush, it pretty much goes away. So we don't have to go through the effort of see, I went a little too far, so I'm going to switch back to white and paint that back in. We don't have to go through the effort of trying to make a clipping path or anything like that. That would just be way too much work on something freeform like that, water. And this area here isn't absolutely perfect, but it's pretty darn close. Next step, I'm gonna. This looks a little rough to me, so I'm gonna take the blur tool, and you'll notice that I'm still on the mask, not the layer itself. If I blurred that, I'd be making it look weird, but I can blur the mask all I want to get it to blend a little smoother. And so I'm gonna go through here and blur all of that until I get a pretty smooth look on that. I can turn my strength all the way up and just get a nice blur on that mask there. And so now we have to kind of sit back and enjoy our handiwork. We'll fit that on the screen, and there you go. It's pretty much indecipherable where our transition occurs, and it's all thanks to that layer mask there. And so that's our old glass, and that's our new. Going from here, you might want to flatten these two images, or you might want to add a layer and do an apply image with a merged. And then you can go ahead and do all of your modifications onto this and still have your originals back here to make some modifications to. The unfortunate thing is that anything you do to this, when you modify these, it won't modify everything you've done. So it gives you a place to go back to, but it's not non-destructive. You have to go back there to make any changes from that point forward. But I'm going to leave you there. You can check out my the finished image after I had done a few more modifications to this one at cmhimaging.com. And hope to talk to you again soon.